All right, welcome into day number 20 of the Thanksgiving journey, as we like to say. So hopefully you are keeping on track and taking good notes in your journal and just processing a lot of things before the Lord and growing and allowing Him to mold you and shape you, because that's really where our hearts are at, as we want to be closer to the Lord when this month of Thanksgiving is wrapped up. And maybe that it's become such a habit that our Thanksgiving continues daily beyond this exercise of doing this Thanksgiving journal each and every day. And so hopefully that's growing in your heart. I know it's certainly growing in mine, and I'm just really thankful for what God has done, what God is continuing to do, and even the things that God has promised that He will do in the future. And we can be just so thankful for that. And so I am excited to be here this morning, and we are in the book of Isaiah, chapter 12, and our verse today is in verse 4. But I want to just read the first. I'm actually just going to read the whole chapter. It's only 6 verses, but I think it'll be helpful. It says, "On that day, you will say, I will give thanks to you, Lord. Although you were angry with me, your anger has turned away, and you have comforted me. Indeed, God is my salvation. I will trust Him and not be afraid, for the Lord Himself is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation. You will joyfully draw water from the springs of salvation. And on that day," this is our verse right here, "and on that day you will say, give thanks to the Lord, proclaim His name, make His works known among the peoples, declare that His name is exalted. Sing to the Lord, for He has done glorious things. Let this be known throughout the earth. Cry out and sing, citizens of Zion, for the Holy One of Israel is among you in His greatness." Going back to our verse 4, "And on that day you will say, give thanks to the Lord, proclaim His name, make His works known among the peoples, declare that His name is exalted." And you can see that there was a shift happening in this chapter, because it says, "And on that day you will." And so it's talking about a future day where the judgment that they were experiencing was going to wrap up, that the hard times that they were in the middle of were going to be resolved. And, honestly, a little side note, I guess, is one of the things I love about God is so many times in the Old Testament where He'd be dealing with the children of Israel, and they're just, they were just difficult people all the time, it seemed like. But what's so funny is there have been so many times in my life where I've been really, in my heart, really judgmental towards how the children of Israel behaved. And then I examined my own life, and I'm like, well, actually, I'm a lot like that. That's kind of how I roll. So, and I don't mean like I roll, but it's kind of how I roll, at times anyways. And so really I have chosen to focus more on humility, being humble and looking at what they experienced, what they both positively and negatively, and just trying to learn and grow from all the things that they went through, because so many times that's kind of something I've experienced as well. And so here it's saying, on that day you will say, I will give thanks to you, Lord, although you were angry with me. So the anger has passed. The judgment, the penalty, the discipline that God was giving them has passed now. And now we're moving on to a new day that I love about God. When Israel's being difficult, he tells them, hey, you know what? You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You've disobeyed. I told you not to disobey. But you know what? Before the discipline has even come, he says, you know what? I'm going to discipline you. I'm going to do A, B, and C. But then once A, B, and C are done, I'm going to restore you. I'm going to rebuild you. I'm going to renew you. You're going to be back. You're going to be better than ever. I'm going to strengthen you, and you're going to be my people. And I'm going to love you, and I'm going to pour out my spirit upon you. And that's the kind of God that we serve, folks. Like, that doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter how many times you have just walked the wrong direction, straight up right against his instructions. It doesn't matter. His love, his faithful love endures forever. And even though, and actually thank God he disciplines us, because his discipline is the thing that most often is the thing that brings us back. And so on that day, when you joyfully draw water from the springs of salvation. So on that day when the storm is past and the discipline is over and we're stepping into a new season of being restored and rebuilt. And on that day, you will say, give thanks to the Lord and proclaim his name. Make his works known among the peoples. Make his works known among the peoples. Declare that his name is exalted. Make his name known. Make his name known. That's one of the things is as we give thanks and we encourage other people to give thanks, because that's definitely a part of what they're talking about here. And on that day, you will say, give thanks to the Lord and proclaim his name, people. You know, that you're actually declaring to other people, give thanks to the Lord. Proclaim his name because he's so good. That we would be in that kind of a place. Make his works known. Make his works known among the peoples. So I want to challenge you. I want to challenge myself today. What are we doing? What are we doing today? What are we doing this month? What are we doing this year to make his name known and to make his works known among the peoples? The first step, I think, is kind of what we're already doing in our Thanksgiving journals, is we are taking note of the things that God has done. Taking note of each and everything that God has done, and then we need to take it the next step where we don't just take note of it ourselves, but we begin to declare it to the people around us. Boldly, courageously, thankfully, joyously, bursting forth with joyfulness and thanksgiving, right? And so I want to encourage you today. What can you do today? What can you do this week? It's Thanksgiving week. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to join together with family and friends. And what are you going to do? What's one thing you can do to make known the glorious works of God? To help people see what a great God we serve. You know what? Because it's God's kindness that leads people to repentance. So as we celebrate who God is and we declare his good works, we declare the evidences of his kindness, it can lead other people to repentance. So I just want to encourage you with that today. Let's be about first rehearsing and then declaring the goodness and the faithfulness of God. Have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow.